before we go into citizens' participation, I want to read something that are my feelings about this meeting. I feel this meeting is a waste of time since it is so close to the election. The newly elected officials should be the ones making the decisions in this process. Every council member up here believes in full transparency. So here we go. At this,
Can I call a point of order? I don't believe we're actually allowed to utilize citizens' participation in our realm. Is that correct? Didn't we figure that out last time?
I can make a statement.
Okay. I just is that are we sure on that?
This is not part of citizens' participation.
Is there something on the agenda that says mayor's statement?
No.
Okay, well then don't we have to make a vote to have that happen?
Well, you know what? I will save this to the end just for you.
Perfect, thank you.
Next, we have Jack Miller. Mr. Miller?
Yes, I was making sure that I had my time up there, so I know when I'm going to exceed.
Thank you, sir. Please make your way to the podium.
A lot to say. Oh, 5 minutes order. Thank you. I wish to remain anonymous tonight, so I'm not going to give my name and my address. I'm also going to read a letter that a citizen wrote me, and I have it written on my hand. And that citizen also wants to remain anonymous and not give their name and address. I hope that's okay. If it's not, I will require a vote because the Mexican-American woman that wrote the anonymous letter at the last meeting, there was a vote taken whether or not to read it. So let's be fair. Although Councilman Apodaca has never been convicted of any sex offense or even accused of a sex offense, as a sexual assault survivor, starting when I was 9 years old by my male babysitter, and then continuing on into the foster care system twice, I can spot a sexual predator a mile away. And I don't feel comfortable with Apodaca going into schools. That's all I got to say about that. This whole thing about why are y'all selecting a city manager before you all get out of office? I'm not a Trump supporter. I think he's a big baby. But I saw a lot of bigger babies screaming and crying because, oh, he's appointing Supreme Court justices and he's going to be out. It's no different. There's people that don't want y'all to pick him, and there's people that do want you to pick him. When I say him, I mean city manager, him or her. So what I would say to you, just do your job. Do your job now. Do your job every time you're supposed to do your job, without regard to when election is or who likes it or who doesn't. We should have had a city manager a long time ago. The time is now. And after election, the time will be now, right? Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Greider, for handling the last meeting. Personally, I think you did a great job. Good for you. But if you're elected mayor, I hope that you learn how to run a meeting when you become mayor, because what I saw that night was, it seemed to me other council people were running the meeting. Because maybe it's because there was some things that...
Mr. Miller, you cannot address a certain council member.
Okay, the councilwoman that I can't say her name, who was running the council meeting, how ridiculous is that? I'm criticizing an official for their official conduct during an official meeting. And you're telling me that I can't mention their name? I'm going to say no. It's a violation of my First Amendment right to criticize an official for their official acts at an official meeting.
You can address the whole board, but not an individual.
Yeah. Like I said, Mayor Pro Tem Greider has my vote. I want to see her as mayor, but that was no good. So I expect my mayor to take charge of the meeting and make decisions. Hard decisions, make them. The mayor is in charge of this meeting, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. Do your job. Do it fair, do it firm, and do it consistently, and do it fairly, with respect to the rights of citizens, with respect to the rules and the laws. The mayor saying that I'm okay with reading a letter even though somebody wants to be anonymous is not going to fly. I didn't say anything that night, but I won't let that fly again, because what that's telling me is that screw the charter. And the charter is our supreme law in this. I mean, that's what governs everything we do. And if the charter says a person has to give their name and address, the person has to give their name and address. And as mayor, what you need to do, instead of saying, I'm okay with it, you say, the charter says it has to be done. It's not being done. You don't read the letter. Simple as that. And anybody that votes to go outside of the charter, don't do that. Follow the charter. If you don't like what's in the charter, then change it the democratic way, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Moving on. Okay. 7, reconvene to open session. Following deliberations in closed sessions, the city council will reconvene in the open session to take any final action regarding the matters discussed in closed session. 7A, discussion and possible action for the position of city manager. I will entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that Trino Pedraza, I said it right, didn't I? Be elected as our city manager.
I have a motion on the table by Councilmember Walczak and seconded by Councilmember Apodaca to accept Trino Pedraza as our city manager for the city of Kirby. City Secretary, please call roll.
I signed up to speak on this agenda item.
I think he did.
Go ahead and speak, sir.
Before you guys consider taking action, I want you to understand something. The mayor brought up a valid point. As much as I don't like her, she brought up a very valid point. This meeting should have never happened. I reviewed what's on that thing out there, and I know exactly what you did. I can't mention your names, but you know who you are. And I'm extremely unhappy with what occurred. What occurred, for those that are in attendance who don't know what occurred, let me explain what I see and what I understand. And if I'm wrong, please, please, I beg you to correct me right now. I don't want to be wrong here, but I don't think I am. I see an agenda posted out there of a special meeting. And I think it was posted, I don't know the date, but it didn't have any signatures on it. There's 3 pieces of paper out there. There's the first part, there's a second part with the ending of the special meeting. Then there's a third paper with signatures on it. From my understanding, there has to be some type of communication, and from what I'm understanding, it has to be in writing, that a special meeting is desired, and it has to be, if I correct me if I'm wrong, please, I beg you. It has to be either initiated by the mayor, or it has to have be initiated or requested by 3 council persons. So what I see out there is I see the agenda posted out there, no signatures. From my understanding, there was no written communication about having this meeting. And then yesterday, a third piece of paper, which is a copy of the second page on that, is out there with 3 signatures on it. I know what you did, and I'm not happy with it. That's wrong. As much as I would like a city manager to be picked right now, and I said this, I want you to do your job when you're up here, and now is the time. We have to stay within the rules and the laws. And if the rules say that it has to be noticed as I described, And I don't see any objections to what I said, so I'm assuming that what I'm saying is correct. If it wasn't put up that way, that's outside of the rules, please, and I may be saying something wrong, and I don't want to continue to mislead people, so please.
No, because he's using his citizens'
That's the reason why.
participation.
Okay, afterwards. Okay, so, yeah, so we have to be within the rules and the laws at all times. No matter how bad we want to do something, if the rules say we can't do it, we just can't do it. So please, before you take action on making an approval or continuing with this process, I believe the mayor had a very valid point. I believe that doing it this way is outside of the rules, and going outside of the rules needs to stop now. Thank you.
Councilmember Walzig, did you have something to say?
May I answer, Jack?
Sure.
Okay, Jack. We had called an early meeting in April. However, we couldn't go through with that. The mayor requested this day and this time to have it. She only did it verbally. Therefore, we found since it was not taken down, that still made it valid, but it needed 3 signatures. And that is, if you'll look up in our articles, number 30.03. So 3 councilmen, because it was not taken down, came up and signed to make it legal. The mayor verbally wanted this date and this time. Okay? Does that answer your question? It is within the rules. Very good.
All right, on the next agenda item, 7B, we have had a difference of opinion, and we have had a discussion with our lawyer, and he has basically said this is a typo. So I will, it actually reads, discussion and possible action on contract negations with city manager. Negations means to end. So I will entertain a motion for the misspelling of this word to negotiation.
I make a motion to change the word.
Hold on. Did not, the lawyer not just say that it was a typographical error and that there would not have to be a motion made to change it?
Well, I just called for one,
Yeah, but he was very distinct that we
but
would.
I just called for
He
one.
signed up for
Thank
this.
you. Jack, go right ahead.
Sorry, it's not on the agenda. I just want to speak.
It is on the agenda.
No, I'm not planning to speak on the agenda. I'm putting my hand up before the meeting adjourns so I can speak.
Okay, so I make a motion then that Jack be allowed to speak.
Second.
If it's okay, I'll speak after. I'll take that.
We have a motion on the table by Councilmember Walzig and seconded by Councilmember Garza to allow Mr. Miller to speak. City Secretary, please call roll.
Councilmember Walden,
Yes.
Councilmember Apodaca,
Yes.
Councilmember Garza,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ryder,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Street,
Yes.
Mayor Alden.
Yes, please approach the podium, sir.
The chief couldn't put the time up there, so I'm gonna time it myself. You got it?
Yes, sir.
And, can you just let me know when I have it?
Yes, sir.
Jack Miller, Dick Gordon. I have a piece of paper here dated November 7th, 2022. It's a notice to what somebody described to me, and many people agree, as a slumlord, Anna Litovsky, Main Street Properties, the owner of the big building on 5020 Seguin. And in November of 2022, that person was sent a legal notice of several violations regarding that property. This gentleman here to the right is being denied a certificate of occupancy because of these violations. But these violations, this is a legal notice to the owner of that entire property. It doesn't say Suite 2. And I'm looking at documents that he has of spending a ton of money having rented from this person who knew that he wasn't going to get a certificate of occupancy. This landlord has been told this. It got a legal notice, but he rents the property anyway to our citizens. So this guy, I don't know if you guys have seen the inside of this place or what he's done to it, but I urge you guys to go over there and check it out. I've seen pictures of it. I'm gonna go over there myself right before I go to this person's house and figure out why he continues to rent spaces he knows that these businesses can't get a certificate of occupancy for. He got questions answered. But as far as you guys go, I'm sorry, but this, if I get caught doing 40 in the school zone and all of you are standing right there as I get pulled over, y'all don't get the ticket. Nothing happens to y'all. What happens is to me because I'm violating the law. But this right here is saying that this person that owns this property is violating things, but he's going to get penalized. And you guys got to do something about this. Wife and children, I think 3 children. Wife and children, 3 children. They depend on, you can't talk right now. They depend on this income and they're losing income. He has filed and received by verbal order, a restraining order from one of our district courts. He'll have a court order here soon as the judge writes it up. So he got a restraining order because this guy, this landlord wants to kick him out. And by the way, has threatened to go over there and take his stuff and throw it out. I told him if he does that, call the cops because that's a crime. It's a civil matter. He can't go in there and start throwing his property out. And he's going to do that. So the reason I want to talk to you about it is because this guy needs help. He needs help now. And you guys do have the power to see past this, go there, the police, the fire chief, code compliance, inspect his property. And if he has any violations, he'll fix them immediately. And give him a certificate of occupancy. Don't hold the misdeeds of this slumlord against him. He opens that business. This is revenue for the city. This helps the citizens getting cheap stuff. And you know, we need to encourage businesses to open. And being slow to act on something like this, considering what we know or what you're going to come to find out if you go and start researching, you know, just please help this guy. Please. Thank you.
City Secretary, we still have a motion on the, we still have a vote to take.
Can we say something to that?
This is not a discussion.
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda.
Got
You
it.
stopped me from reading a letter.
You're right. Okay. Just asking.
Okay, please call.
What are we voting on?
Well, we have a vote to call first.
Yes, the motion was
For the word negations to be changed to negotiations per our lawyer.
correct.
Please call roll.
Councilmember Walbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Apodaca,
Yes.
Councilmember Garza.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ryder.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Street,
Yes.
Mayor Aldridge.
No. Okay, that has been corrected. 7B, discussion and possible actions on contract negotiations with city manager. I know that we have discussed this with Mr. Pedraza. Chief, do you know, I mean,
If you've already discussed some of the contract or you've negotiated the contract to some degree, please forward me your changes or what you want to see in the contract. I will forward that information to the attorney who will work it out for us.
Okay.
To then.
okay, Councilmember Street has all that written down for us.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. So with that, there would be no action taken. I will move to 8, meeting adjourned. Well, I adjourn the meeting, Jack.
No, that's illegal.
No, it's not.
Stop your chairs and back your hands up. Y'all should have called on them.
I tried, Jack. She told me
Okay, no, Mayor, you don't get to end the meeting and violate the law.
I need 1 minute to leave.
You do? You have a face on you like, yes, I do.
I have family to like.
What the fuck, Mayor? You don't get to just violate the law